All right. Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng Deep Dive live from the other side of the universe, from Hague to the United Kingdom. Ito. Kasama natin si Attorney Christina Conde, attorney before I flew in here to the United Kingdom. Grabe, ang dami kong nakita. Ito naman, tinatag ako ng mga ka-DDS. Napalaya na si Tatay Digong. And all that. Ayan na naman sila. At it looks like the source or alleged source was si Alvin and Tourism, yung ba yung ano yung humba, yung nakikihumba.
Yes, ang intindi ko siya yung may birthday at nag-serve ng humba.
What a world. So we have yet again another humba scandal. Attorney Conti, what's going on there sa Hague? I mean, what made some of these people to come up with this fantastical claim na napa-approve na yung interim release? I saw the letter. I don't know if it's legit. Pero parang the letter was lang walang parang na entertain lang ng ICC yung request, and wala naman daw parang hindi naman daw pumalag yung Philippine government. Pero ang problema ko na ano namang paki ng Philippine government. So kaya ako natuwa when Attorney Claire Castro immediately came out and said, ang pinagsasabi niyo, wala kami pake dyan, bahala kayo dyan. So, I'm a bit confused. Like, was it a fake document yung September 26 na went online over the
Not
week?
really, not in the sense na may pinaking pirma. It's more of misconstrued and misconstrued statements and being creative with the truth. So, ang intindi ko, ang sabi ni Claire Castro, I have to go back to that video, pero ang sabi niya, um, sort of kinokongratulate niya ano pong tingin niyo na meron na daw bansa na pumayag? Well, edi may nagbunga pala sa pinaggagawa ni Vice President sa pag-iikot ng buong mundo. At parang bahala na sila dyan. Eh, ang lumalabas pala, ang take ni Kaufman, uy, pumapayag na pala yung Philippine government eh. Na hindi naman. Ang sinasabi lang, oh, wala akong magagawa. Kayo na bahala dyan. Biglang, oh, payag ka na, di ba? Kaya ang problema lang ni Attorney Kaufman, ang binangga niya si Attorney Claire Castro, who will not take this lying down, sitting down, na baka mamaya magdala na naman siya ng resibo na papel.
Yun nga eh. So, si Senator Trillanes had the post. Hindi ko alam kung live yun or late post, pero parang nag-rage bait siya. Kaming nagka-compete, sinong pinaka nagtitrigger ng mga DDS minsan. Sabi niya, ano yun, kulong pa rin, huwag kayong mag-alala, ano, parang stay calm, kulong pa rin, naghahanap buhay lang yung abogado.
Ayun.
Is this the situation? Like, may metro, i-delay na naman natin yan.
Which is the sentiment of many. Many people have told me na, ano ba to attorney? Hindi ako nag-post noon ano ba to attorney? May ginagawa lang si Kaufman kasi mahal ang bayad sa kanya, di ba? Tumatakbo yung metro. Pero I would suppose for Kaufman, he's just doing his job. Sabihin na natin. I understand there's a statement from civil society organizations coming out today, asking the court to take action about the creativeness of Kaufman with the truth, because this is not the first time. Naalala niyo yung sabi ni Kaufman dun sa unang interim release request? Sabi niya, uy, payag na yung prosecution. This is, kumbaga, the Office of the Prosecutor has confirmed their non-opposition to the request. Nung nag-comment yung prosecution, hindi ganyan. Ang minimum na sinabi nila, yes, nag-usap kami, pero hindi kami nagsara. Kaya, kaano na to, ka-concern. Kasi it's not once, ewan kong pag not twice, pag more than that, kailangan na talagang may sanctions.
So there could be sanctions for ano, misconstruing or twisting yung statements or developments sa ICC.
Well, yes, there are rules in the ICC regarding, well, ethical conduct of lawyers. Kailangan sundin yun strictly. At palagay ko, yung, sorry to say, pero yung galawang DDS, yung, uy, malaya na si Digong, ganun, na, ha? Saan nanggaling? That kung if lawyers had made that statement, that would clearly be unethical. Yung babaliktarin mo, iibahin mo yung sinasabi ng korte.
We can have a long conversation on the Kaufman, Harry Roque dialectics and all of that. For all we know, no? Hindi na pala kailangan si Harry kasi na-incorporate na yung algorithm niya into the
Yeah, but I
Kaufman.
think ako, there's something that worries me. Yesterday in an interview we did together. Yes, so
Wait. Can you pause? You did together with Harry Roque?
sorry. I was surprised that he was also on the
Wait,
program, but he was there on
it's
the
Harry
segment.
Roque! Oh my God. Ano nangyari?
So parang ako, una muna nating tawagin si attorney, Harry Roque. Para ako ba sabi kasi attorney, next ka na. Ako ba? But thankfully, I did that interview, even though there was a little bit of surprise na, oh, he was there and he was confronted with my statement. He admitted, or he claimed that his information about the health condition of Duterte came from someone who was involved in his care. So galing daw sa ospital. Balikan ko yun kung ospital ba o sa isang particular na tao. Kumbaga, somebody na involved sa care ni Duterte. Yun daw yung quote-unquote source niya. Worrisome yun in the context of medical confidentiality. Walang pwedeng magsalita tungkol sa kung doktor man,
Yeah.
nurse, o sinong staff ng ospital. Walang pwedeng magsalita tungkol sa ginagawa sa isang pasyente. Binanggit ko nga noon pa lang na, sorry, medyo morbid, pero if you remember, in the UK, kay Princess Kate, may nag-prank. Kaya doon ko naalala yung shocks, yung medical confidentiality is so, so serious. Somebody called the hospital where Kate Middleton, now the Princess of Wales, was confined kasi bagong panganak. Nagpanggap yung pranksters na Prince Charles ba or Queen Elizabeth. Nagpanggap sila na tapos nagpa-update. Nag-update naman si nurse. Alam nyo dahil dun sa pressure, morbid ba? Yung nurse nag-unalive herself.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Kasi ang lakas nung premise na yun sagrado yun. Medical confidentiality, you never spill the beans, you never give out the records without the consent of the patient. Kaya reflection yon hindi lang sa ospital, but maybe also sa ICC detention facility. Bakit may nakakalabas na ganyang chismis? Bakit pakalat-kalat? Although, of course, yung iniisip ko nga si Duterte, siya yung ultimate may say, right? Pwede niyang pagchismisan, uy guys, lahat ng bumisita sa akin, or lahat ng bumisita sa kanya, kwentuhan niya tungkol sa ingrown niya. That I could understand. Then you can tell others. If he says, sabi mo nga sa buong mundo, ang sakit na ng ingrown ko. Pero there's qualifiers to it. Kasi pwedeng sinabi mo sa bumisita sa'yo, pero it's not meant for the general public. Diba? Ang mapapahiya dyan o kaya ang masasangkalan, yung pasyente.
I mean, so it looks like we're talking really about ethical breaches, direct assault on the credibility of the court. The spokesman of the court the other day in a interview said na we're treating him humanely, na talagang they don't want anyone, I mean, they take offense at anyone casting aspersions dun sa kanilang welfare basically system dyan to make sure na buhay at lively yung kanilang mga clients. I mean, so a kind of an ethical, should there be a kind of a warning already by this time? Kasi grabe na. I mean, this could keep on getting worse. I mean, more fake news, more attacks. I mean, this could go in many wrong ways.
Yes, and it could really backfire on those creating the situation. Kaya kung sa mga biktima, ingat na ingat nga rin at as much as possible, we would not like to comment on the situation of Duterte kasi it will create hysteria to some extent. Nag-create na nga nung sinabing hala, nabagok. Kasi yung mga biktima, gusto nila buhay si Duterte. Nabagok? Oh no! Kasi walang trial kung walang Duterte or walang buhay na nakakulong ngayon sa ICC on this particular case. Kung sorry again to be morbid, pero kung may mangyari sa kanya, the case will be dismissed. Hindi pa nga tayo nakatuloy ng trial eh, dismissed na kaagad. So, ayaw nilang mangyari yun.
So, you're hoping baka mahuli. Pero kung mahuling co-perpetrator, sabi natin sila Bato and the rest, tuloy yung ano, even if God forbid something happens to the other chief
Well,
perpetrator.
yes, that's the other side of it. Kaya lang, the premises now is that wala pang ibang nahuhuli. At wala rin kaming information na meron ng warrant of arrest. Although, sabi nga namin, huwag na natin ipagkalat that there will be a warrant of arrest. Yes, para po dun sa mga nagtatanong. Kasi nagtatanong, huwag mo nang i-announce, attorney. Eh, paano ko naman hindi i-announce? It's right under our noses. There will be a warrant of arrest against Bato. Yung secret na lang, yung timing.
Yeah, and
Kaya,
it's not like Bato is out of the loop. He has also his contacts everywhere, 'di ba? Eh, tinatawagan pa nga siya last year, 'di ba? Nagpapanik attack mo siya. So it's not like there's an element of surprise here. The element of
and
surprise will be operational, which is beyond you and I. Yeah.
yeah, and Bato would know he would be involved. Kasi nandun siya nung ginagawa yung krimen. Nung pinag-iisipan, anong plano natin sa Davao Death Squad? Paano natin to gagawing nationwide? He was there. Kaya from that time, he knew na talagang involved siya doon. Nung nahuli si Duterte, nung iniimbestigahan to, mukhang ano naman siya eh, uh, at sometimes combative, pero more recently, open eh. I am prepared daw. Pero yung ano ko nga, sana wag si Tol Tolentino, yung pinag-usapan natin last time, yung kunin niyang abogado. Dapat ano, medyo hanap siya ng kayang mag-ano sa kanya, kayang mag-defend talaga ng rights on an international level.
Exactly. So, by the way, I'm wondering, ano yung rules sa, may say bang Philippine government at all dito sa interim release or anything like that? Or tapos na yung part ng Philippine government? I mean, in what ways can the Philippine government still be involved with this case?
Technically, it's not in the picture. I don't think that it has been floated as the Philippines has been floated as that third country, quote unquote. Kasi wala eh. Nung unang submissions, this third country, may mga cues naman. Pero klaro, this third country, is remote, malayo daw, from the geographic scope of the incident, which is the Philippines. So, hindi sa Pilipinas. So, may ganong factor din yun na kasi it goes towards that last risk factor. Will the accused continue to conduct or to commit more crimes? Kung nandun ka sa geographic scope of the incident, most probably. So, yung pinaka-telling dun sa statements is that this country is far from the scope of the incident, geographic scope. Kaya, dito sa renewed, we think it could still be the same country that's being posed, pero the ICC has already disclosed that there is a request for the Dutch government to either, one, facilitate transit. Kasi exit yan ng detention facility, Dutch territory na kaagad eh. Or two, kung ang request ng defense kung pwede naman palang makidaan, baka pwede na rin makistay. Pwedeng dyan na lang para malapit. Yung bansa, yung Netherlands, tsaka yung bansang tinutukoy na pwedeng puntahan pa sana, ay ni-require na mag-comment ng ICC judges dun sa renewed request for interim release. So we're waiting for that. Probably hindi magiging public yung information. Pero definitely, the decision on the interim release will be made public.
Uh, and by the way, just before I go to this, kasi there's an update kanina lang na si Pavkovic, no, isa sa Serbian, ICC war criminals. He was returned home to Serbian health grounds. So maybe we can discuss that also, because obviously it's spin na naman nila na maybe that's a game plan to make so much drama and make him so kawawa na pauwi na lang dito sa Pilipinas. But just before that, uh, hindi ba pwede, aren't there going to be consequences? Because Sara Duterte is enjoying all the privileges under the ICC, visiting the father, blah, blah. At the same time, she's besmirching the ICC. She's saying inhumane condition, etc. Hindi kaya pwede patanggalin siya ng mga privileges if she continues to make up stuff?
Well, possible. Kaya yung warning ko, ingat kayo sa sinasabi nyo, Pero at the same time, wala akong kakayahan na patigilin sila. That could be a basis for the ICC to say, teka, this person is not cooperative with the yung detention facility, because they make the rules. It's not cooperative, and probably when she comes in, she will concoct a plan to, I don't know, jailbreak Duterte. She said that. Kaya she's a danger to the security and safety of the ICC detention facility and the inmates. Kaya, sorry, ipasok ko si Hanilet. As I understand, it could be that parang general basis din yung sa kanya. Kasi ang pinakauna mong iisipin, kung ayaw ng detainee sa'yo, hindi ka papapasukin. Kaya para dun sa mga chumichika na, baka si Trillanes, yung pinapasok, that's Pulong Duterte pala, parang si Trillanes daw, claim niya, ang pinapasok ng Philippine Embassy to check on his father. Naku, ang unang-unang rule dyan, kung papayag yung pasyente or yung detainee. Di
Wait,
ba?
like, Digong will papayag siya na meet niya si
Oh, may
baka
bisita
may,
po kayo, si
I think,
Trillanes daw yung
walang isa lang
pangalan.
buhay lalabas siya ni
So, yung kay Hanilet naman, so back to her. I doubt na si Duterte yung may sabi, wag niyo nang papasukin yan. Baka naman sabi niya, wag muna yan, wag niyong pagsabayin yung mga girlfriend ko. Or something, ano. Pero, the other side of it, kung hindi yun, kung hindi yung wishes of the detainee, it could be that the ICC saw her as not really a constructive force. Kumbaga, not a constructive person or not a positive person that could lead to or that could help with the adjustment of the detainee inside the prison. Kung ganun din ang asa ni Sara, then there could be regulations, which is why after her jailbreak statements, she hasn't really visited much. Kasi I'm pretty sure she's under close watch.
And what about yung sila Bongo and Bato and all, they're very supportive of Digong. They're crying for the guy, they care for the, hindi kaya pwede sila bumisita rin? Why are they not visiting? Is there
Well,
any
I don't
stopping?
know. As far as I know, they have not made, and publicly naman to, no? Publicly known, they have not made efforts to visit him. Lagi lang nilang sinasabi, gusto nilang bumisita. Technically, friends could visit under very, very strict grounds, pero you have to go through all the channels. At hindi siya tipong, uy, casual visit na, uy, pwede ako bumisita, let's have pizza. Hindi ganun. You have to be screened very closely. Pero there's also this one thing na very, very peculiar and separates Bato and Bongo from Robin. Mga senador lahat to and friends. Bato and De La Rosa were co-perpetrators. Probably in the context of the document containing the charges. I've said that Bato could probably qualify or be issued the warrant of arrest next. Pero Bongo, many have told me, di ba, attorney, ito yung pinagagagawa niya. Could be, if he's viewed to be a co-perpetrator, mas mahirapan silang dumalaw.
Yung
Kumbaga,
Garma, di ba mag-witness din? I mean,
pwede,
di ba
yeah.
yun very relevant yung kanyang testimony laban kay Bongo di ba? In terms of how the machine operates.
Yes, kaya yung kay Bongo, people ask me, is Bongo involved? It depends on how much cerebral power did Bongo exercise. Kung inutusan lang siya, maglabas ka ng ganito, di baka hindi. Pero kung ang general utos, Bongo, ikaw na bahala. At pinag-isipan niya sinong makakakuha, magkano makukuha, then probably he could be considered as one of the most responsible. Pero nonetheless, kumbaga yung concept na probably co-perpetrator sila could be something that's preventing them from visiting. Pero again, as I've heard, there is no effort for these two personalities to visit. Wala pa akong nakita nga na attempt si Senator Bongo na pumunta eh. Nung ano nga, actually, laging tanong ng mga tao, nung hinuli, magkakasama, di ba? Hawak yung passport kasi galing ng Hong Kong. what prevents them from joining him in the airplane? Bakit, 'di ba, crucial. Bakit hindi sumama si Bongo?
Yun nga, and that's where a lot of conspiracy.
Naiwan pala sa gate.
May,
Hawak-hawak yung ano,
may pizza gate
pizza.
din yata, di ba? May pizza gates. Eh, talaga, kahit mga DDS, walang awas sa isa't isa. Minsan, parang grabe Yun yung original Humba eh, before the Harry.
Oo.
Yun yung
Tapos yung
original.
ano, Domino's or SNR.
Kasi sabi ko, pizza gate din yan, pizza gate.
Napakain tuloy kami. Ano nga ba?
There's a big one. Although we had Santo Trillanes also on this show during that time who said, well, there were lots of other Intel ops happening. Don't give too much credit to yung mga nasa loob ng, like, none of them are competent enough to turn on each other. But no, this is a serious issue. Itong basically narrative na lang tawagin natin na sa sobrang kawawa si Tatay Digong, pauwiin na lang sa Pilipinas. So just as we speak, ito na may news na yung former Yugoslav Army Chief. Ito yung Army Chief nila, no? Si Pavkovic, Nebojša Pavkovic was released even though he was held criminally culpable by the ICC during the 1998-1999 Kosovo War. So pinauwi na siya sa Serbia mismo because of on health grounds. But he has served already a significant amount of time behind detention kasi 2005 pa siya humarap dito sa ICC. So you're talking about 2 decades already. If you're DDS, aren't you gonna look at this and say, oh, si, pwede pala, iuwi na lang natin si Digong, kawawa naman siya. And as you said, he's the oldest guy to stand trial. So isn't that the kind of parang legit jailbreak option they could look at, or at least in terms of narrative?
Yeah, I would really harp on his health issue. Kaya lang, a bit more on that later. Kasi in this release, parang wala nang magawa yung ICC. Kumbaga, naku, wala na, problematic. At ang sabi nga, he will continue his treatment in his country with the help of his family and then the health institutions of that country. Pero klaro na hindi siya pinapawalang sala. In fact, the ICC has been, parang he opted or he asked to be released in 2022, so 3 years ago. Kaya lang hindi siya pinayagan kasi mabigat yung krimen at mukhang hindi siya nagsisisi. Itong ano ni
Walang
Milosevic,
repentance. Hindi kasi siya
o
nakikinig kay Cayetano. Di ba sabi ni Cayetano, lahat ng krimen okay lang, basically. Basta mag-repentance lang tayo.
basta mag-sorry. So, yung lack of repentance or lack of rehabilitation, na parang ganun pa rin siya, could be a factor for the ICC not to grant at the first instance a request for interim release. Kumbaga, di babalik ka ngayon, ang default mo, o di sige, may sakit na lang. Kaya lang, they have to keep or get their story straight. Kasi sa interim release, ang basis ay physical health. Diba? Na hindi na daw kaya, may ingrown, kailangan ng 24-hour care. Yung basis naman ng yung fitness to stand trial is mental health. So they're trying to paint us a picture of someone who is so debilitated, so not himself, pero at the same time, what we hear of him from his relatives who visit, okay naman siya. Kaya sabi ko, naku, kailangan ayusin yung naratibo.
Love life
And
nga eh.
I think itong statements ni Sarah tsaka ni Polong recently, ito yung parang pambawi. Kasi lagi okay naman siya, engaged. And kahapon yata bumisita yung former wife, si Madam Zimmerman. Tapos sabi niya, he's even engaged and he remembers things. Ah, banggang-bangga doon sa mga statements nung anak niya
Ang gulo nga
at saka
nila
yung
eh.
naratibo nung defense lawyers.
But wala, the mental health part is a bit tricky to me because, I mean, on a serious note, we're talking about a lot of psychopaths who end up in ICC, right? Like, it's hard to talk about mental health when you're talking about people who oversaw or openly boast, in the case of Duterte, about mass murder, right? And then
Mm.
seem to acknowledge it but without any repentance. Parang, sorry na lang, ganyan talaga. I mean, hindi ba ipso facto may problema tong mga tao? I mean, obviously it doesn't take away their criminal culpability, right? But I don't think anyone with mental healthness card na 100 out of 100 ends up in this situation, right? Or overseas mass murder. I'm just wondering, like, I have medyo na tricky. And then, if you're talking about dictators or you're talking about charismatic personalities, usually mga warlords, dictators, they are masters of manipulation, right? I mean, they're thespian. They can, take out whatever drawer and personality serves the moment. I mean, they're great actors, political actors, right? Hindi ba by ipso facto dapat the psychological assessments are always done with certainty? Because sa pagkalam ko, isa lang yata nag-check sa kanya. Shouldn't there be like a second or third opinion? Send three different psychologists. In short, kung may budol, madetect ka agad. Siguro mabudol mo yung isang psychologist, but maybe quack doctor, but if you send two or three, maybe the chances are better to detect something.
Well, yes, precisely. So the ICC will send out probably an independent panel of experts. The prosecution is already asking for asking permission to appoint one themselves. Because so far, the only expert we've heard from is the defense expert, who he started with a CT scan, an MRI exam, and a finding from an anonymous expert by the ICC detention facility. So mukhang dati pa, parang binibuild na yung kwento. Ang nakita ko dun sa records, may ICC detention facility medical officer na nag-recommend ng isang anonymous expert. Ang finding niya is that there are, kumbaga, medyo nag-deteriorate ang executive functions. Nagde-deteriorate ang memory at yung visual-physical coordination. Mas ganon. Pero nothing to the point that he is unfit to stand trial. The defense expert jumped to that conclusion. It was him who said, unfit to stand trial. And what does it mean? So, eto na nga. It doesn't mean na you're sane. I mean, in a sense, it doesn't mean na nagamot ka sa kung anumang situation. It's only that kaya mong sundan yung proceedings, tapos kaya mong sagutin kung ano man, kung may kontra sa'yo. That's it. Medyo basic, kumbaga parang read and write yung requirement. Dito, kaya mong mapakinggan, maintindihan kung ano nangyayari, at ultimately, kaya mong sumagot or kontrahin yon. Yan lang yung standards, kumbaga, ng fitness to stand trial. Yung test nga nila nung una sa fitness to stand trial is the Pritchard test. Si Pritchard, bingi, tsaka pipe. Oh, paano yan? Hindi kayang mag-plea. Kasi diba, kailangan niyang sabihin, guilty or not guilty. Eh, kayang mag-sign language. So the court said, you have to look at fitness to stand trial, not only as a medical situation, but also as a legal construct.
Um, I mean, I'm all for mental health and all of that, 100%, walang problema. But, you and I, we have taught at the universities and all of that. May mga times na may estudyante biglang may ginawang mali or something, sabi niya, may mental health issue siya, may depression siya, ganyan, ganyan. Like, yun nga yung problema, na weaponize kasing legitimate mental health issues. And again, here, we know we're talking about an elderly person, etc. Pero alam din natin, mga budol talaga itong mga to eh. The whole drug war is budol. Everything is budol with these people. So, that's why I think talagang kailangan ng panel. So I'm glad that there's a
Yeah.
proposal for a panel of experts. Yung mahirap lokohin yung panel eh. Yung mga anonymous na kinukuha ng defense, kaya ayusin yan nowadays. Baka na chat GPT lang yan. Um, uh, Last point, kasi pauwi na kayo, Attorney Conti. I mean, again, I'm not saying when for your safety. No, but this is on a serious note. Kaya nga buti nga hindi ko alam kung late post si Trillanes, Senator Trillanes, but safety is a serious issue and I hope you take care of you also yourself. Kasi nakita ko online, natakatak ka rin eh. There are
Oh,
also some crazy nga eh. It looks like napipikon talaga sila sa atin and of course your very very good interventions. But as you head back to our country, I won't say exactly when, but um what is the game plan for the witnesses? Ano going back to the drawing board? So what are the next steps for you people who are involved with yung welfare ng mga biktima at saka pamilya ng mga biktima? At ano ang
well,
kailangan gawin ng civil society also to make sure tuloy-tuloy yung momentum nito? Kasi in fairness, it's the Duterte side na parating maingay, may ginagawa, right? You guys are doing your job professionally and of course you're doing all of these interviews and all. But nevertheless, ang ingay nung side ni Duterte. So, what are the next things you want to do? And what are the things that the Philippine government can do to help this case? Sabi mo nga, lahat nakalutang kay Duterte ngayon, and that's a basically a tricky situation. Shouldn't the government also help with more arrests and bolstering this case?
Well, yes, all of that involving sa victims. And una, we have pending applications to participate in the case. Hindi pa rin naman nasantabi yun. Although confirmation of charges hearing will be reset at a later time, we hope that there will be a decision on the recommendations of the VPRS. So this is the Victims Participation and Reparation Section. Sila yung nag-review ng applications. Sabi nila, ito pasok sa scope, ito hindi pasok sa scope. We're actually kind of concerned that the VPRS, alam nila yung scope noon pa. Yung kakadisclose lang sa atin na 3 counts of crimes against humanity in the acts of murder, ganito yung category, etc. And involving only 49 incidents. They said that only 15 applications amounting to or equivalent to about 29 victims qualified or will probably qualify to be part of the scope of the case. Kumbaga, ito yung 29 victims or persons involved in the 49 incidents. Kaya kami parang, oh no, this is a rather small figure compared to the 300 who applied. Kaya parang kami, waiting kami doon, nakaabang kami kung ano pang pwedeng gawin. Nung, may ano yan Group A, Group B, Group C. Group A, admitted. Group B, hindi. Group C, question mark. So, kumbaga parang nagpaparegister ka sa school, yung konti pa lang, yung, o sige, pasok na yan, grade. Di ba, may age requirement, may nakapagbigay ba yan ng birth certificate, nakapagbigay na yung ano. Yung klarong-klaro, pwedeng pumasok, konti lang. Merong iba na hindi pasok kasi hindi tama yung edad, baka masyadong bata o kaya masyadong matanda. In the case of Duterte, hindi kasi namatay within the right period ang kanilang mga kaanak. Kaya ang hirap i-explain na, sorry po, hindi sila namatay dun sa period ng ICC. Pero biktima ako ni Duterte. EJK. Sana pala namatay yung anak ko ng mas maaga. Parang ganon. Kaya ang pangit nun.
Technicalities.
Anyway, the group C is question mark. How does the court view all other victims of similar incidents? So dun yung magiging cue for the next stages. Pwede pang mag-apply. So pwede pa pong ma-recognize as a victim of the case. Kaya dito, I think ang next challenge sa amin ay considering that there will be a smaller number of people involved or directly participating in the case, how do we figure in the sentiments of all other victims? Itong konti lang ba to? Kasi itong konti, kung sinong mag-recognize sa victim, sila din makakatanggap ng danyos. Kaya parang, ganun ba yun? Right place, right time, right everything. Pero kahit na we are both similarly situated, sakto, hindi lang, nasaktuhan lang, labas ako dun sa period. Kailangan namin pag-isipan yon kung how do we address their concerns, and then stepping back, how do we help them out in a more constructive sense and tangible sense. Ang kailangan yan ngayon ng mga yan ay support, not only in participating. Kasi nag-offer yung Philippine government, those who want to participate, hindi ko nga alam kung magpa-participate, pero those who want to testify or the witnesses against Duterte, pwedeng ma-protect. Pero how about participating victims? Wala pang offer. And how about the general category of victims of Duterte? Wala pa rin kaming naririnig. And these are the people who deal with very crucial issues in life. Ito nga nakaraan kasi nag 5 years na, di ba, after Duterte. Nag-deadline yung upa sa sementeryo. Kaya ang daming kinailangan mag-provide ng services ng cremation, exhumation, cremation, o kaya lipat ng libingan, o kaya continuing bayad sa libingan. Ang rinig ko, it's between 3,000 to 6,000 pesos ang kailangan nilang bayaran for the next 5 years. Parang umuupa ka talaga ng apartment. So, public hospital, public cemetery na to ha. Kaya kami parang, oh shucks.
Pwede ba mag-crowdfunding dyan or is there institutional support? I mean, this is a serious stuff. I mean, every day.
Yes, pwede. And sa totoo lang, this is all part of the larger effort for transitional justice. After a very significant conflict, kailangan may agrabyado dyan eh. So, sagutin nyo. So, yan ang kinoconfront nila ngayon, lalo na 2025. Ito yung mga pinatay ng pandemic, edi, nag-up ang kanilang list, quote unquote. And then, para naman sa lawyers, more cases and probably, more perpetrators at the ICC. It's too late, kumbaga, too late for us to, kumbaga, add, or hindi naman too late, paano ba? Kumbaga, marami nang hawak yung ICC. It's just a matter of a little bit of push. Ano ba, bakit ba wala pa si Bato na warrant of arrest? Pero for all the other perpetrators, they'll probably not be brought to the ICC. Ako nga si Garma, ang tingin ko, she's not going to be part of the people considered as most responsible. Her only role was to connect Duterte to Edelberto Leonardo at umattend ng meeting. Pero kumbaga, parang wala siyang direct role no? Meron lang siyang assignment do sa particular areas niya. So that was Cebu, for a time Davao yata, and so forth. So, kung hindi sila saklaw, sinong sasaklaw sa kanila? There has to be domestic litigation or investigation at the least for the crimes committed during the war on drugs. Hindi porket nakakulong na si Duterte, forgive and forget. Naku, hindi po. Tuloy pa rin yung pagbubuo ng mga kaso. Kaya lang, hampered as we are now with the lack of evidence.
Last part, just to break the ice, kasi pauwi ka na rin sa Pilipinas, so you're gonna face the reality also of all of these flood control investigations going on. I mean, there's a push to it. I mean, alam natin si Marcoleta, di ba, pushing for witness protection program, kila Diskaya, etc. I mean, this is crazy, right?
Naku,
And
yung asawa niya, di
at
ba?
ngayon asawa niya dun sa board ng isang insurance company. So may comment din pala si Marcoleta Jr. I mean, what is your read of this? And I wanted to also ask your opinion kasi the other day, just before I flew in, I had the quadcom of Justice Carpio, Justice Ascuna, and Secretary Llamas. So I said, I put all of these guys together. And then tinanong ko yung dalawang justices and juries, magaling ba na abogado si Mark Oleta dun sa levels ng expertise na saan siya? I'm not sure kung alam pa rin ni Justice Carpio live yun kasi sabi niya nasa lowest si Mark. And then si Justice Ascuna, being such a nice guy, said, he has yet to reach the summit of his potential. I mean, that's a very nice way. Talang yung contrast talaga ni Balura si Justice Carpe, si Justice Ascuna. So, uy, Justice Life to! Alam mo ba, ginanong ko lang. So there was a misunderstanding. Anyway, kaya pina-private ko yan. Sayang, million views ka agad yun. Like, it was so crazy. I put all these big personalities next to each other. That was amazing. Ikaw, kasi Marcoleta acts as if he's the legal, I mean, he's like the luminary, legal luminary in Senate. I know the bar is very low in Senate, but I mean, ano bang opinion kay Marcoleta in the legal community? I'm not aware of him being involved in any high-profile litigation case. Ang yabang niya mag-cite ng ganitong experience ng mga litigators, ganyan pa. Who you? Saan ka ba nag-aaral? Saan ka ba nagturo? I mean, who you?
Well, yes, both in the academic community. So, magkakakilala naman yung professors dyan eh. Hindi siya sikat, sabihin na natin. He's not someone that you would have to ask for help when you want to pass the bar exam. And at the same time, he's not someone who is known in the human rights community na syempre sa human rights, hindi ka lang simpleng criminal defense or meron ko ding civil cases, meron ding admin cases. Mas iba yung focus, pero parang general practitioner ka rin. Hindi rin siya kilala. So I would say baka nandun siya sa parang law firms, quote-unquote mainstream practitioners, that I have no information of. Pero I think for a long time, he wasn't a practitioner or a litigator. He was a politician. Kaya yung pa yung iniisip ko na baka doon siya nag-focus doon sa politics. And there is some kind of practice where you mix the politics and litigation. And siguro yung sa category na yun, I would put Ferdinand Topacio.
Kapasyo. That's exactly
Yeah.
what
Yung
Justice
parang they
Scarpio
have
said.
cases,
Uh,
but it's not really, kumbaga, they're not acting as lawyers, they're acting as politicians.
wait,
Baka
according,
doon
wait,
pa.
wait, sorry. Speaking of Topacio, maybe you already answered my question kasi medyo askuna yung answer mo. He has not met the summit of his potential. Pero I think papunta tayo sa Carpio answer kasi according to his best friend, si Gadon, zero
Oh,
ang panalo ni Topacio. Like he's still 0 out of 50 or something cases. That
sino?
si Topacio, di ba kinasuhan niya dun sa
Oh,
petition sa amin, di ba? Si Topacio na-attack niya si Gadon. Tapos sabi ni Gadon,
okay, yeah.
di ka naman nanalo ng any case. Anong kalokohan to?
Well, actually, I understand he has refused to be in an interview with me at one time. Tapos tinanong sa akin, bakit? Magkagalit ba kayo niya? Sabi ko, hindi naman kami personally magkagalit, but he has not won a case against me. He actually even
Or
filed a case
anyone.
against me. Inamparo niya ako na parang ako pa maaamparo sa punto na katabi ko lang yung bata na sinasabi niyang nawawala. Kasi ang amparo para sa nawawalang mga tao, desaparecidos, at saka sa na-EJK. Katabi ko yung bata, nag-appear kami sa TV, sinasabi namin yung bata ay isang aktivista ng anak bayan. Umalis ng bahay, kaya po hindi siya missing, hindi rin siya minor. Ito yung era na yon. Natalo namin sila dun sa kaso na yon nung sinampahan kami, nung nagsampa sila ng trafficking, etc. with the clear finding that it's not related, it's not recruiting to an armed force. Ito nga yung bata. At sinasabi, nandito ako, aktivista ako. And then he filed an amparo case against so many others and me. Sabi nga nung Supreme Court sa dulo, teka, wag naman nating i-misuse yung gamit nitong
Yun
ganitong
nga eh, frivolous talaga
processes.
yung ganyan sa atin. Nagtatroll lang sila. Legal trolling ang tawag ko dyan.
O, kumbaga mailagay lang sa record na, oh, nakasuhan yan.
Para may jurisprudence lang sila. Yeah, it's a form of trolling. I mean, it's a form of trolling. Kaya nga sabi ko, yung sa amin nga yung mga kasabwat niya na nagsampa, mali-mali pa yung mga CR number. Yung mga,
Naku po.
nahuli tuloy namin na mali-man, chinachipiti ata nila. Nakakaya sila. Um, but you know what was even more interesting is when I asked Justice Ascuna and Justice Carpio, anong opinion naman kay Attorney Jimmy Bondok? And I just saw blank face. Who? Kasi si Jimmy Bondoc, marami siyang opinion sa ICC, sa ano. Meron Jimmy Bondoc School of Law rin, no? I mean, what is opinion of him as a legal mind?
Well, I don't see him as a legal mind. I'm so sorry to Attorney Bondo. Kasi I don't think he has a track record in litigation or even in the academe or kung ano man. He passed the bar, yes, he's a lawyer, but I don't know about his practice.
Yeah, so, at least mas magaling sagot mo kasi silang dalawa ni just like,
Oh,
sino like,
baka naman alam nila yung kanta. Sana kinentahan mo na lang.
I think medyo laos na rin na offense. Like, pati sila, I don't think they know. It's si Sir Ronald, tumawa lang. Like, sabi ko, sorry for that fast talk. Anong tingin mo kay ganito, ganyan, ganyan. No, because people are really wondering, where is this? Kasi kinakaren niya si Lacson, who's the original Karen. But in a good way, I would say. Kinakaren niya si Lacson eh. Parang, sino ba to? Ano bang ano niya? Parang, ang lakas ng dating eh. Ang lakas ng arrive. Diba? Ang lakas ng arrive. So, I was really wondering, saan niya hinuhugot yung kanyang self-confidence? Saan ba galing to? So, well, I think that answers itself. I mean, it's the same Topacio algorithm. On that very diplomatically correct note, Attorney Conti, uh, just quickly lang, kasi hindi ko tinanong yung skincare mo last time, but medyo
Naku.
related to that. But no, honestly, how do you keep this going? I mean, where do you get your tenacity and all? Because this is a question that people keep on asking. Like, like on the way, there are people, followers I meet, and gano'n, and sabi na, sir, ganito, ganyan, I mean, thank you for doing what you're doing, kasi minsan nawawala kami ng pag-asa, or akala namin ganyan, ganyan. And I said, thank you to you too, kasi minsan pati kami nawawala rin ng pag-asa, and I mean, we're all human beings, so at some point, you're like, this is too much. Where is this gonna go? So, what is your coping mechanism?
Well, coping mechanism, marami yan. Ako, stan account on Twitter. Kasi kung puro pangit, pangit, pangit yung sasabihin sa'yo sa Twitter mo sa main, sorry, lilipat ako ng ibang account at iba ang algorithm doon. So, beautiful things. But I'm doing this because nobody else is doing it, or there's a very few number of people doing it. And the clients are asking for people to commit. Ang iba kasi parang inisip nila na, sige, we can help out. Pwede itong, ngayon nga, required ang legal aid to indigents of any lawyer, 60 hours. Pero they're saying, the clients are saying, well, sana more than that. And the commitment that we need is something that, well, they see in me. Kaya parang, alam mo yun, pag magkaibigan na kayo, parang mapapakommit ka na na, ganun ba? O sige, tuloy ko na. Kaya crucial factor yung kilala mo yung kliyente mo. And in closing, we have to be brave because our clients are, that's Romeo Capulong. We have brave clients and therefore they deserve brave lawyers.
On that very, I mean, hindi naman TED Talk, on that very inspirational note, thank you very much, attorney. Hope to catch you soon. Baka next time pwede ka sumama sa mga justices na yan.
Naku.
Ipa-fast talk ko kayong lahat. Ano tingin nyo kay Harry Roque? I think that would be the best answer. Yung next time na lang, ano kay Harry Roque, and then Kaufman, and then the whole gang. Maraming salamat, Attorney Conti, and have a blessed day, and talk to you soon. God bless.
Thank you. Ingat.
Salamat.